He said he saw the devil, and that devil was Diddy. The courtroom was dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. The first witness had just dropped a bombshell that sent the entire trial spiraling into chaos. From a black eye to a bribe to a video that's haunted the internet for nearly a decade, this isn't just a trial. This is the unraveling of one of hip-hop's biggest moguls, and it just got real. This is the full breakdown of Day One's testimony in the United States versus Sean Diddy Combs, where the first witness didn't just testify, he ignited a firestorm. Buckle up.
Well, I mean, on the surface, if the prosecutor's claims are true, this seems like pretty much textbook witness tampering, right? I mean, it appears to be an effort to either, in some cases, intimidate witnesses from testifying against him, or there have been other reports of sort of inducing people to make statements in his defense. There was some allegation that in one instance this was a statement that he, in essence, dictated or drafted with a woman who made a statement that was attempting to rebut one of the accusers, I believe, in a civil case against him. I mean, witness tampering is bad. The things that Sean Combs is accused of are terrible. He pleads his innocence. The justice system will presumably work its way through.
It is likely that there is some underlying truth to at least some of the allegations. There might be a lot of underlying truth to a lot of the allegations. There's probably some bandwagoning going on. We spoke to an attorney who's for one of the alleged victims of Diddy a few weeks ago. I believe Amber Nomiki and I did, and they said they had calls, they had information, they had people, hundreds of them, come forward. They're not going to represent all of them. They're, which ones have evidence that can be compelling. What are the best cases to bring that? I also saw a story in the New York Post. This is from a week ago about Diddy stuff that I wanted to read the headline of. Woman claims she saw minors dressed as Harajuku Barbies at Sean Diddy Combs' freak-off parties, what he was describing there to Conan so many years ago. Said these were sex-fueled parties with what she initially thought were little people dressed as Japanese Barbies. And she said, this is her talking to TMZ, are those midgets? And she actually thinks they were kids dressed up in sexy.
Oh, gross.
So again, that's just from someone who provided this information to TMZ for a documentary. Yeah. But pretty disgusting.
It is. No, that's.
The first person to take the stand was Israel Flores. Not just any witness, but a former Intercontinental Hotel security guard turned LAPD officer. That's right, he's a cop now. And the prosecution knew exactly what they were doing. They opened with a guy who was there, saw it all, and now wears a badge. Flores was working hotel security back in March 2016, the same night Cassie Ventura was allegedly beaten by Diddy in that now infamous hallway video. Now, he's standing in a Manhattan courtroom, recounting it all under oath. And what he said? Yeah, it sent chills. Flores says he got a distress call from Cassie's hotel room. When he arrived, what he saw was shocking. Cassie had a black eye. Her face was bruised and she looked terrified. According to Flores, she was desperately trying to leave. But Diddy stood in her way. "You're not going anywhere," Diddy allegedly told her in a tone Flores described as devilish and scary. That line, it's not just dramatic, it's potentially criminal. That kind of language directly supports the prosecution's claims of coercion, control, and trafficking. And then Flores dropped the kicker. He didn't just witness the aftermath, he says he recorded the hallway surveillance footage on his personal phone. The same footage that was later aired by CNN in May 2024, showing Diddy chasing, kicking, and dragging Cassie through the hotel. This isn't hearsay, it's potentially evidence. Real, recorded, damning.
And I know you ain't signed it. I know you ain't signed an NDA, clearly. But did he make his audience sign NDAs and people that work for him?
Well, a lot of these rappers, a lot of these industry people, anybody who does business nowadays with the internet, they have NDAs, non-disclosure. That means that if you work for them, you around them, you can't disclose any of the information about them. It's the same thing that he gave to all his artists when he gave them their publishing back. I'm gonna give y'all publishing, but y'all can't talk about Janice Combs, Justin Combs, Sony, Bad Boy, or anything that happened. Y'all can't talk about none of that. But there's some artists that didn't say anything, that didn't sign it, and they able to talk about anything they want to. And I think that's those girls that was, I think Danity Kane. I think a couple of them didn't sign it. And boy, oh boy, they probably gonna go after him too. Cause I heard him, and I'm giving you this, Aubrey. He stood up there and he said in front of a lot of people, we were in the studio, and I said something to him and walked out the studio. He said, yo, I'm gonna drug their ass off and pick them out and pip them out to my nigga. He said, I'm gonna drug them out. I'm gonna get them all on drugs, and I'm gonna pimp their ass out to my. And I was like, "There's somebody kids," and walked out. And it's somebody that heard me. It's somebody that heard me. I mean, well, it's not only somebody that heard me. It's somebody that I know who was in the studio at the time that happened, and I still talk to him today. And we were just talking about that the other day. He done moved back to Indiana. I don't know why. I'm gonna give you that one. He said he was gonna drug them all out and pimp them out.
But that wasn't all. Flores testified that Diddy and his chief of staff tried to bribe the hotel to bury the footage. Yeah, straight up obstruction of justice. According to Flores, they tried to cut a deal, pay off hotel staff to keep the video out of the public eye, hide the violence, pretend it never happened. Flores even told the court that he warned Diddy about hotel damages, indicating that Diddy was fully aware of the severity of the incident. That's not just damaging, that's devastating, because now we're not just talking about abuse, we're talking about a cover-up. Cue Brian Steele. If you don't know that name, you will soon. He's the high-profile defense attorney who represented Young Thug, and now he's leading Diddy's legal team. And let's be clear, Steele didn't come to play defense, he came to go on the attack. In cross-examination, Steele wasted no time ripping into Flores' testimony. He honed in on one thing, Flores' 2016 hotel incident report. And guess what? There was no mention of Cassie's black eye, no mention of Diddy saying, "You're not going anywhere." Steele pounced. If these details were so important, he asked, why didn't you write them down? It was a surgical move, turning Flores' powerful statements into questionable omissions. Steele framed it like this. Either Flores is misremembering after 9 years, or worse, he's exaggerating to help the prosecution. Flores didn't back down. "I remember most of the incidents, sir," he repeated several times, but Steele wasn't having it. He implied that Flores' vivid memory, complete with words like devilish, was too vivid, too theatrical, too perfectly aligned with the prosecution's story. He grilled him about why he didn't download the surveillance video from the hotel computer system if it was so important. Flores said he lacked access. Steele said, "That sounds inconsistent with someone who supposedly just witnessed a major crime." In courtroom terms, that's a credibility attack. Steele's tone was relentless, drawing multiple objections. He wasn't just cross-examining Flores, he was trying to discredit him entirely.
These testimonies are going to be extremely important. Building a case against someone as high profile as Diddy is not an easy job. So I'm going to bring in former FBI agent Bobby Chacon to talk more about this. So off the bat, Bobby, how do you build a case against a celebrity as well-resourced and powerful as Diddy?
Well, it takes a lot, Sylvia, as you know, because the allegations in this case range from like 2004 to 2024. So this is going to be going on for 20 years, and they're finally getting around to charging him now and trying now. That's because it's so difficult to get people who are not afraid to come forward. This person was powerful. They were rich. They had a lot of influence. They were allegedly violent. So all of those things add up to making it very difficult for investigators to get people to talk to them about these. You add in the fact that many of this many of these things are embarrassing. They're of a sexual nature. They're private. They take place behind closed doors. And that adds to the reticence of witnesses coming forward and talking about these things. And so investigators have to do a lot of long, hard work in getting these witnesses to trust them, number one, to make sure they feel like they are being treated, not as a pawn in a game to get Diddy, but as people that really care, that the prosecution cares about these people. And so you bring in victim witness people who are trained really and have the background in talking to people who are maybe victims of alleged sexual violence. And so you bring in specialists that kind of can talk to people like that and get them to open up about these things and to trust the investigators and trust the prosecutors, that they're just not going to be thrust into a situation. You have to get them to trust you so that if someone does make a threat, even if it's veiled, people can do that on social media now. They can say things that are kind of a little bit wonky sometimes, or these veiled threats. So if the witnesses that you're developing are comfortable enough with you, they will bring those threats to you, or those situations where they might feel threatened. You always have on the federal level, we have the witness protection program, right, which is run by the U.S. Marshal Service. That's kind of a very extreme step, because that's somebody you change their identity, you move them to another part of the country. They're not allowed any contact with previous people in their lives. So it's the witness protection program is one of the more extreme steps that you take. But there are other steps you can take to ensure the witness that they're not going to be subject to that. If anyone does make a statement that's even considered something like that, you send a team to go out and investigate and to question that person and to get them to maybe make a retraction or to kind of back off a little bit. So you do have to do a good job at making sure the witnesses are comfortable that if anything should happen that they feel uncomfortable about, they bring it to you, and then you have to address it in the ways that are available to you.
This is where things get philosophical, because now the trial is less about what happened and more about what the jury believes happened. Flores' testimony is emotional, packed with dramatic imagery. The black eye, the devilish demeanor, the bribe. Steele's cross is logical, it's cold, methodical, and it hits hard. No black eye in the report equals potential exaggeration. No don't leave order in the report equals maybe it never happened. It's emotion versus doubt. And this first witness is setting the tone for everything that comes next. Let's be crystal clear. The prosecution doesn't just want jurors to hear Flores, they want jurors to believe Cassie, who's expected to testify soon. Flores' job is to set the emotional stage, to prime the jury, to make Cassie's story feel real before she even says a word. If jurors believe Flores saw her with a black eye, then Cassie's story of abuse becomes more credible. If jurors believe Flores heard Diddy say, "You're not going anywhere," then claims of trafficking and coercion become more believable. And if jurors believe Flores' bribery claim, then Diddy doesn't just look abusive, he looks criminally deceptive. But if Steele's logic lands, if jurors question the omissions in that hotel report, then Cassie's story could fall apart before it even begins.
Is that he need to take his counsel advice. Because if he think he's going to get out of this from the federal government, he out his mind. They in the process of plea bargaining, trying to do a plea bargain session with him, and he not taking it. That's probably why one of the lawyers jumped off the case. Remember Benjamin Bradford, his first lawyer with the Cassie situation? He said, give her the $10 million and make this go away, brother. He ended up giving her $30 million. He's not taking the lawyer's advice. 9 times out of 10, they probably got him a good plea bargain. Yo, listen to me, we can give you 15 years. 10 or 15 years. You do that, you come out, you only have to do like 12, 13. Come out to a halfway house. You still can live some of your life out as a free man. He don't want to hear it. So it is what it is. The federal government do not want to go to court. 9 times out of 10, they want a plea bargain with you. You understand? You accept the plea, you accept the time, You go ahead, you save the government money, you save them time and effort and manpower. If you don't believe that that white guy was a plant, then something is wrong with you. He done sold them enough drug, but they haven't hit him with that charge. They haven't did him with that charge yet, or that we know of. If you don't believe that they're gonna try to hit him with those guns in there, they saving all that for last. The drugs, the guns. They'll do another superseding indictment and add those two up if he don't take the plea. If he don't take the plea bargain to the sex trafficking or whatever, stuff like that, they're gonna say, okay, let's add the guns to it and let's add the drugs to it.
How you feel about Keefe D? He out here crying to come home, man.
Keefe D, I think is a mistravesty of justice that Keefe D is still in jail without a bail, or they're not making his bail low enough for him to go home. For the fact of the matter is that Keefe D was told to say something by a LAPD officer who was writing a book, doing a movie, and making himself rich off of an event that happened in our culture. And that he's in jail because the cops said a lot of these things first.
Let's be honest. This was a heavy-hitting first round. The prosecution fired with emotion. Surveillance videos, black eyes, the devil. The defense countered with logic, missing reports, memory gaps, and bias. And the jury? They're caught in the middle, wondering if they just saw a hero cop or a flawed witness with a hazy recollection. Flores' words were powerful, but the defense raised real questions. Why wasn't that black eye in the 2016 report? Why didn't Flores mention the threat? Why record the video but not report it more thoroughly? This isn't just about one man's testimony, it's about setting the tone for the trial of the decade. And that was just witness number one. The second witness is already on the stand, and based on early reports, it's about to get even more explosive. So if you thought this trial was intense now, trust me, it's only just getting started. Smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single twist. Because with testimony this wild, we're not just covering the news, we're documenting a legacy and collapse. This is what's poppin', and we're just getting warmed up.
I think you want somebody who wants to serve, someone eager to serve, because that suggests that person might be inclined toward a celebrity like Diddy. I would also, in this case, I would want men, not because men support abuse, but I could see this being very difficult for women jurors. I would want younger jurors as well. I don't know that older jurors would be good for him.
Do you care where they get their news? Do you care if they go on social media?
I wouldn't care so much about social media. Certainly watching you on Law and Crime would be a real problem. But no, I wouldn't care too much. I mean, in fact, if they were reading the celebrity media, TMZ, Rolling Stone, that might be an encouraging thing for Diddy's counsel.
Now, Ben, according to the court today, they expect preemptory challenges on Friday.